What's the weirdest thing that brings you and your loved ones together? That was a question that was pondered to me by one of the people who left a comment, and that was a topic that was chosen for this video. So if you haven't been following me, my name is Cameron Edward Benson, and I'm doing 30 videos in 30 days. Each one's about 10 minutes long, and I'm producing that with ChatGPT. ChatGPT came up with this entire structure of how I do everything. And so we're gonna go from there. So first off, I'm gonna give some stories and examples for me. So some of the strangest things that I think bring people together, what stuck out to me the most was, well, they're all made up. A lot of the times it's about the things that we go through and the stories that we make up about them, right? So it can be getting lost in the rain, our trauma. It can be whether we hate a particular brand of ice cream or we love a particular brand of ice cream. It can be what country we are in. We can be what religion and faith we practice. And this guy named Yuval Noah Harari, who is the author of the book Sapiens, talks about this ability for humans to believe in what he calls a shared fiction. Now, this is not an argument about whether God is real or not, or all of these different things, but it's our ability to believe in things that are not fundamentally based in reality and share and agree to them and play in this world as if they are true. So there's an example of things like, obviously, we can go to religion, but also look at sports, right? So for example, when you have a basketball team, you are cheering for this person in a uniform putting a ball through a hoop. But putting the ball through a hoop doesn't mean anything. It only means something because we have made it mean something, because we deeply believe into it. And so when I see LeBron James shoot a three ball for the Lakers and send them into overtime, I jump and I scream as if it was me and if that thing was actually important. But it literally is only important because I gave it meaning, because we have a shared fiction together. Another example of this is money, right? So money only has value because we all agree to believe that it has value, right? So if one day 90% of the world was like, well, actually, we don't think, dollars are worth anything, then they wouldn't be worth anything. So this is part of this shared fiction. Now, this doesn't mean that money doesn't actually matter and all these different things, because it's a shared way that we actually play together. Essentially, it's agreed rules to the game of our world that we believe in, right? And so by shifting these different things, we can shift how we interact with reality. One quick story I wanted to give with this was when, and it's a really powerful bonding moment for me, was when we were at Base Canyon last year in 2025, which is a rave that happens at the Gorge. It's 3 days long. We were ready to see some of our favorite artists, and all of a sudden, we started to get crazy thunder and crazy rain. And so they had to close it down. We sent out, and fortunately, one of our friends was like, "Hey, we can go out this way." And when we go out this way, we ended up getting under this shared hood, and it was like 15 of our friends. And instead of having this kind of ruined moment where we weren't able to see the shows and everything, this turned into this beautiful experience where we got to bond and laugh and create something special. Even after we went back to our camp and saw it completely devastated by all the wind and the rain, and our camps were completely destroyed in ways, it became an experience that was fun and enjoyable, that brought us together, that brought us laugh, that we all share and look at pictures to today. We even still got to see all of our favorite artists the next day, and it was one of my favorite experiences I've ever had at a festival and a rave. So that's what I have to say. So now we're gonna ask ChatGPT and see what it's got to say. Hey ChatGPT, what are some of the strange and unique ways that humans bond?
Humans bond in some incredibly strange and unique ways, often driven by shared experiences, vulnerability, or even just a sense of shared absurdity. Here are a few of the most interesting ones. 1. Mutual discomfort or fear. Strangers can become fast friends when they experience something awkward, frightening, or uncomfortable together, like getting stuck in an elevator or braving a terrifying roller coaster. 2. Inside jokes and niche humor. People who share a quirky sense of humor or who find something hilariously weird together can develop a deep connection almost instantly. Sometimes the joke doesn't even make sense to anyone else. 3. Rituals and superstitions. Whether it's friends always tapping the roof of their car when they drive through a yellow light, or a couple who always high five after a big decision. Shared rituals, even ridiculous ones, create bonds. 4. Shared embarrassment or vulnerability. People who witness each other's most embarrassing moments, like a wardrobe malfunction, a nervous public speech, or an awkward social blunder, often develop a special connection because they've seen each other at their most human. 5. Fighting together or against each other. Whether it's surviving a heated debate, a playful wrestling match, or even a full-blown argument that ends in understanding, conflict can actually create a sense of closeness when resolved. 6. Strange sensory experiences. Smells, tastes, or sounds that only certain people have experienced together can be a powerful bonding trigger. Think of that weirdly specific perfume that you and a friend both remember from a wild party. 7. Secret codes and language. People who develop their own language through shared slang, voice impressions, or even coded gestures can form a unique bond that feels like a private world. 8. Spontaneous adventures. Sometimes bonding happens when people impulsively decide to do something out of the ordinary together, like an impromptu road trip, skinny dipping in a freezing lake, or crashing a random wedding. 9. Mutual complaints or gossip. This one is a bit darker, but bonding over a shared frustration, dislike of a situation, or even a mutual disdain for a person can create a sense of solidarity. 10. Shared secrets. People who confide in each other, even about something small, often develop a unique bond simply because they've trusted each other with something private. Have you ever experienced a really strange or unexpected bonding moment with someone? Would love to hear about it.
One of the things that really stood out to me in that take from ChatGPT was the importance of rituals, right? So thinking about even small things like the weird handshake you might do, or the way that you go to church in the morning, or how you're doing certain prayers, right? Think about the Muslim tradition of doing these prayers 5 times a day and how that bonds everybody because they had this unique shared experience, this unique way of interacting with the world. Think about any sort of gesture, whether you're in Japan, you bow to someone, or whether you stick out your hand for a handshake, or every time you see your friend, you do your little silly dance, right? Each of these little things are a way that we kind of build connection with a human being. And if you look at a lot of these different things, one of the things that I find so fascinating is how they all, or a lot of them at least, happen in a place like church, right? So a church or a religious institution creates a system that allows you to have so many of these different shared unique experiences, whether that is through ritual, through praying to the same deity, whether you believe that's real or imagined, whether that's reading the same scripture, singing the same songs, going on trips. Like that was a big part of my childhood, was going on these youth trips where we would go to Mexico and build a home, or we would go on an adventure on a road trip, right? There's all these different unique experiences that we also have the same we also have the same shared language when we're in these different religious institutions. And it's one of the things that I'm really fascinated by as somebody who would no longer identify as like religious in any standpoint. In some ways I would still identify as being Christian. In some ways I wouldn't, depending on who I'm talking to and what your definition of a Christian is. But I'm really fascinated by how do you create these same types of experiences intentionally? I think one of the things that really is missing from so much of the world right now is the community that a church type institution provides for so many people who are no longer religious. I mean, I know friends who have told me, man, I just want to go to church if it wasn't religious, right? If you could be around these same shared people, dialoguing, having interesting conversations, philosophical talks, could you create something like that that didn't revolve around a bunch of rules or guidelines or things that you don't necessarily agree with or believe that you belong in? But that's just my take, and I'm just one person. So let me know your thoughts on comments below on any of the things we talked about, whether it's church or weird, things that we believe in, or the things that bond us and bring us together. And share, of course, a topic suggestion that you might have for the next video, and then I will have ChatGPT choose based off of the comments. My name is Cameron Edward Benton. Have a great rest of your day.